As usual, I'll start with the shout outs to the community and kind of since I started last month reordering things, I'll start with the more significant things and then go to some of the interesting interactions on Discourse. So we had several PRs to our code base this month. I think one thing that's usually a really good starting point for people who want to start contributing to Monty is to start addressing some of the rough linting rules that we're currently ignoring, which is basically our code format checker. And it's a good starting point because it doesn't require understanding the whole algorithm, but you can make some really good contributions, drive our goals further, and also kind of get familiar with our code review process. And the code base in general. And so, yeah, for instance, Carver made several PRs here, several PRs addressing lint rules, and then a little refactor removing a function, another refactor on how we use the omniglot dataset. So kind of moving from addressing some of the rough rules to refactoring some of the code and making some kind of functional improvements. And then rf-maymay also made several PRs, again, targeting some of the rough rules that we're currently ignoring. And then AgentRev, I showed last month already, had picked up this larger chunk of work on our future work roadmap, which is to simplify the simulator protocol. This was something that Tristan and Will had prototyped during the focus week in Brighton, but couldn't keep working on. So we had posted the videos of that online, and AgentRev saw it and yeah, graciously volunteered to start working on this task and has made several larger and smaller PRs working towards that goal. Several refactors at different places, simplifying the code, removing an old environment that we weren't using anymore. So yeah, thanks for working on that. And then some kind of projects that we've heard about on Discourse. Here's Zachary, who's working on an undergraduate final year project, trying to use Monty in a robot to recognize objects, and shared an update on Discourse a couple of days ago on the plan for that. And then this is still in the early stages, but Carver posted a couple of days ago about addressing another item on our future work roadmap, which is kind of around the way we're currently giving some special treatment to off-object observations, since we're in a simulator where we actually have like empty void, which doesn't really exist in the world, and also yeah, it's a pretty involved task, so we'll have to see how to best address it. And then, yeah, there were several really interesting discussions on Discourse. For instance, AgentRev shared a summary of a paper by Google, basically kind of highlighting main points, and then also particularly how it relates to Thousand Brains project, which is really useful when people share papers like that, so we don't have to scour everything that's happening in the space ourselves. And yeah, it's really nice to hear from someone who also understands our project, how it relates and where the kind of overlaps are. And then Carver posted some questions and ideas around inferring and learning non-rigid objects like a rope or a napkin, liquids, and there was some interesting discussion on this thread. And then Andreas posted a PDF document with some thoughts around how Thousand Brains theory relates to some other ideas. Also, some interesting discussion in that thread if someone's interested. There was another interesting discussion here between Xavier and specifically asking some questions around representations in layer 6 and how locations could be represented and how our thinking has changed on that over the years. And Jeff has been replying there several times, giving kind of the up-to-date thoughts on where we are on those questions. Then, yeah, helping others. I think AgentRev has been falling into this category several months in a row now. Someone asked about a way to export our documentation as a PDF and shared a yeah, Python script to download the Markdown files. Then several first-time posts. We have this introductions category on our forum where people can introduce themselves. So, for instance, Carver came to the project and introduced himself here. Like you saw earlier, he made some PRs already and started some interesting discussions and just introduced himself and some topics he's interested in. And then Andreas also introduced himself. He's the one who posted that PDF document. And then also Oscar from Melbourne. And so welcome to the forum to the three of you, and invitation to anyone else who's joining to introduce yourself on this in this category as well. Always happy to hear about who's interested in the project. And then also on social media, really appreciate anyone who's sharing the project and mentioning us, and even just tagging us in posts that you might think are interesting for our project. And then also a big thank you to anyone who filled out our poll about what the next community event should look like or what would be most useful. That was really useful feedback, and we used that to craft our new community event, which will be happening on December 17th, in about 2 weeks, 7 p.m. Oh no, 9 a.m. PST. I took that screenshot here. And it's called Meet Monty 2026 Reverse Engineering Intelligence. We're going to give an update of all the cool and interesting stuff that happened in the past year. There's been a lot of development since the last symposium last December, and we're going to give a really nice high-level overview of all the aspects of the project. You'll hear from everyone on our team. Get to meet all of us, get to ask questions in the end. And even if someone's interested and hasn't heard the previous symposium or read anything about the project, it will be still a really interesting event to attend and a great first entry point to the project. So feel free to forward this invitation to anyone who might be interested.